Let's move on to the Ryanair, where if the champion chase isn't going to cut up Tony quite as much as you thought it might, this Ryanair, I think, looks as though, in terms of the horses that are currently in the market, there's plenty that won't show up here. You've got Allaho at the top of the market, 11 to 8 on currently. Energumene is in there, obviously won't go. Shakan won't go. Janadil next best, 7 to 2. A Plutard won't go. Chamblou's in there at 4 to 1. It's a very wide open market, Barry. Plenty of people think Allaho is the banker of the festival. Would that be your view in this race as well?
It's hard to think otherwise. He's very solid, and his performance last year, he ripped the field apart, and it was what we thought was a strong field, but he made bits of the opposition. It does look like it's going to cut up a lot. Facadou de Rees, who won at the weekend, he's still a possible there. 12 to 1 about him. He was second the race last year. To me, wouldn't seem bad value. Or either Tornado Flyer, who was third, only a half length behind Facadou de Rees. Obviously, what he did at the King George was brilliant. So he's a good, solid performer. I think both of those represent value in what looks to be a one-horse race. Maybe there's a bit of each way in those two.
Okay, and Tony, would you be looking anywhere elsewhere further down, bigger prices in this, or is it all about Allaho?
No, I'd be happy enough with the favourite here. 26 left in this at the moment. What's running Allaho and kind of a whole lot of maybes in behind, I would say. Don't know what they're going to do. Conflated or Eldorado, Allen. It's an open Gold Cup, and they wouldn't have to take on Allaho under his ideal conditions, so they might want to take a chance there. Asterion Forlange is in there. Yeah, this is probably his trip. He's coming off 3 hard races. Not so sure about him. Dashel Thrasher, another one, hard race there at the weekend. Facker, kind of well placed, I'd say, to win his grade 1 for the season on Saturday. Did he want to take on Allaho? I'm not sure. Janadil, like conditions, but he's kind of a 155 horse at best. Mellon kind of talked about him, like he plays possibly. Mr. Fisher back on decent ground, might be okay. I back St Calvados for this race, but I can't have him now because he's bled on Saturday, so that's, just don't fancy that at all if you don't really like backing horses like that. Chambleau is a somewhat interesting one, albeit being fresh now and being fresh at the start of the season are kind of two different things, because everything is having its first start back when he was running the Charlie Hall. Brilliant winner though he was going to be. Also possibility he prefers a flat track. So Kenny, you're left with Allaho. Tongue tie went on around this time last year, and the only horse beating them is Chacan Bourgeois under that one's ideal conditions. I think we all wondered after last year's Ryanair if he'd be able to reproduce the form. I think he hasn't really, but he's won his 2 starts this year. And got the perfect prep, and that was a concern for me that he was going to go straight from the John Dorkin on the Cheltenham, but they got the running in Torres, did it well there. He's going back to what look his optimum conditions judging last year. He's got the best trainer around. He's 10 to 11. I still think non-runner, no bet. I backed him last week because I thought ahead of the Ascot race some of them wouldn't be able to get out of their own way and it would take out some of his rivals. I think that probably is the case. To me, he's more like a 4 to 6 shot, maybe even shorter. I wouldn't overthink it. I'd just be happy enough backing him, and if you have something else you want to put in with it for a multiple, that's fine. But as a single bet, again, I wouldn't be out thinking myself trying to back something each way. I think he'll win.